Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be looking at the Katana tool shelf. The shelf is an easy way to add Python code to Katana that anyone could then reuse. To access the tool shelf, we simply click this cogwheel up here. And then you'll have this drop-down menu to choose which shelf you want to go to, or you can select it all and it'll have all of the tools. And we have PRMan25, Katana and Katana Q here. And in brackets, it tells you where it's coming from. And say if we choose PRMan25, it will filter the list to just the PRMan25 shelf tools. And if we want to add our own, we can simply click the add button and add a new shelf. What this will do is it will add a new folder in your user directory. So I'm on Windows and I'm currently in C users adam.katana shelves. And now when I make a new shelf, which let's call testing, we click OK. And this creates a new folder in here called testing. And this is where all of our Python scripts will go that get added to that shelf. So let's do that now. We'll go back to the cogwheel. And we'll click add. And you can see this new item is not selected. What we need to do is we need to click on the shelf and go to our actual new testing shelf. And you can see the location of this is user. And now when we click add, we can add an item to our shelf. And we click this, and now we get a new pop-up and it says name. So that's the name of your tool, and then a description of what your tool does, keyboard shortcut and icon. It's going to put a name in now of test some code. And this will test to see what our code does. And then for the keyboard shortcut, all you need to do is actually hit the keys that you want it to be and it will enter the stuff in there. So if we do Control-Alt-H, and there you go, it adds in there. And then for an icon, you can just put a path to an icon for whatever you want, and we'll cover that in the example video. And now we click OK. And you can see that it's added a testsomecode.py file, and it's actually opened up in my text editor on my other screen here. I'm just going to bring that over. So here's our testsomecode.py file. And at the top here, commented out is all the stuff that gets read when it loads in the py file. So read the name, read your icon location, the shortcut and scope. We'll talk about scope in another video, but this allows you to have tool shelves on nodes and the scene graph, etc. Then there's some information here about some functions that you can use. And finally, there's our code, which says print hello world. So let's jump back to Katana now. And if we click on our shelf and run our code, and then go to the output terminal, we get hello world. Let's change it to something else. So hello Adam. Now, if we hit Control S to save this file, we can just rerun this now. And go back here, and now we've got hello Adam. So we can just update our code live and then rerun it. So we don't need to reload Katana or do any kind of reloading a tool inside of the Python console or anything. It's just run every time. So that's pretty nice. And let's say, for example, somebody installed a new Python bit of code to you. You can also reload the shelf. So let's do an example of that. So say, for example, we are in our testing folder here. I'm just going to control copy and paste this guy, and let's edit this one as well. So I can add up here, and let's call this testing some more code. And we'll change this one to be Control-I, and this will test some more code to see what our code does. And we'll say hello everyone, and we'll save this. We'll jump back to Katana and we click the shelf. We're in our testing shelf here, but we don't see it. So what we want to do is we want to click add and then reload shelf. And there we go, we've got test some more code. And one final thing is you can right click on these and we can view the source or delete for our own testing area. And if we click the view source, then it's going to open in our text editor from our preferences. And you can also view the code from anything that's in the other shelves. Now, if we do that for one of these, instead of it opening in our text editor, it's going to open in this read-only window. But it'll allow you to see where that file is saved and also see the code behind it, so you can always figure out how that was done. Okay.